Hi, fellow wanderers, welcome back. Don't forget to turn on the subtitles, they are available in English and Spanish in case you need to. Today, we are going to talk about levels. Every foreign language, well, actually, we all have the same levels, but when we learn a language, we always speak about the levels A1, A2, B1, all the way up to C2. For me, these levels don't tell the full story because they tell us what we need to know, the grammar we are supposed to manage, the functions of the language that we can do more or less in what situations we are comfortable. But this is not really about levels as if it were a hierarchy. For me, it's all about movement, moving from one stage to the other. It's a progress. And I want to speak not just about what you can do in each one of these stages, but also how you might feel, what you can do to overcome that, apart from the obvious studying and learning grammar rules, vocabulary words, and so on and so on. In the Haven universe, we don't see them as levels you pass, we see them as stages you experience. We must all go through all the stages. Well, all of them if you want to live the full experience. Of course, some people get, I don't know, are comfortable with a specific stage, B1, B2, and that's all. That's all they need. They're comfortable with the language and they leave it there. But if you want to live the full experience, well, you must reach the six stages, in my opinion, five, six of them. Today, I want to explain to you what my vision of this path is. We're going to do this through a listening task. I will speak to you about the six stages, and at the end, you will have a comprehension test, which, by the way, the link is down below, but I will speak about that in a moment. You can do this as you want. I will leave the transcription down below in case you want to read and listen at the same time. I encourage you to listen to it once without anything to support you, and then a second time with the transcription to make sure that you are not missing anything. But if you don't feel comfortable with that yet, make sure to have the transcription in front of you. There is absolutely no problem. You can also do this one by one. So every time I speak about one stage, you stop, you do the comprehension exercise, which, well, there are just two questions to answer. And then you move on to the next one, or you can do the full listening at once, and then at the end, do all of the activities, all of the questions. The comprehension test is a Google form that you will also find the link for down below in the description box. And well, let's see how it goes. I wish you the best of luck. Excuse that I am going to be looking down in the meantime, but well, I am going to be reading this. Without further ado, let's go. You begin your journey as a newcomer. At this stage, everything feels new and slightly overwhelming. You hear English, but it doesn't make sense yet. Words feel isolated, and sentences can feel too fast or unclear. It's common to feel lost or frustrated at times, but this stage is not about understanding everything. It's about getting used to the sound, the rhythm, and the presence of the language. What helps here is exposure, listening without pressure, repeating simple phrases, and accepting that confusion is part of the process. To move forward, the newcomer needs consistency and patience. become an explorer. This is the stage where things start to feel a little more familiar. You begin to recognize common words and simple structures. You don't always understand everything, but you can follow the general idea. At this point, learners often feel a mix of progress and limitation. You realize you can understand more than before, but you still struggle when you try to express yourself. The key here is curiosity. Start noticing patterns, pay attention to repeated expressions, and try to use small pieces of language actively, even if imperfect. To move beyond this stage, the explorer needs to stop only recognizing and start producing for real. Start producing language about things you can see, experience, or do. Keep it real. Describe everything. After that, the seeker appears. Language starts to feel more meaningful. You are no longer identifying words, you are trying to understand ideas. At this stage, learners often become more independent. You can follow conversations, although not always participate as you would like. Generally, you understand more than you can express. This can feel both exciting and, yet again, frustrating. The seeker's challenge is expression. Start forming opinions. Try to explain your thoughts, even with simple language. Don't avoid mistakes. Use them as part of learning. To grow here, the seeker must shift from understanding to communicating real thoughts. Then comes the pathfinder. Here, language becomes more flexible and precise. You can express opinions, explain ideas, and handle more complex conversations. At this stage, learners often notice a new challenge: accuracy. You know what you want to say, but you start noticing small gaps in expression, tone, or nuance. The Pathfinder works by refining language, not just learning new words, but choosing better ones, not just speaking, but shaping meaning. You find your own individual path in English, off the beaten track from textbooks and teachers. To move forward, the Pathfinder needs to slow down and become more intentional with language use. Analyze not just what you say, but how you want to say it. Next is the navigator. At this stage, English feels almost natural in most situations. You can adapt your language depending on context, tone, and audience. Communication becomes fluid. You are not thinking in your native language first, for the most part. You are thinking directly in English more often. The challenge here is subtlety. Small differences in tone, register, or nuance are not optional anymore. They become the key factor. The navigator improves not by learning more basic language, but by refining expression and control. Get technical. And finally, the master. This is not the end of learning. It's a new relationship with the language. At this stage, English is used with precision and ease. You can express complex ideas naturally and adjust tone and meaning almost instinctively. You are no longer translating thoughts, you are shaping them directly in English. The focus here is refinement, subtlety, and depth of expression. And I regret to tell you that this is a never ending job. There will never be a moment in which you'll say, "That's it, it's all done." So, the end of the path is that there is no end. I am a certified master and I still learn new words and uses every single day. These are the stages of the haven. Each one represents not a level better or worse, but a different moment of the same journey. Now, let's see how much of this you have understood. As I said before, you will find in the description box a link to a Google form in which you will have 12 questions to answer to check your comprehension. And before you leave, let's take a moment to reflect. Where do you think you are? Which stage would you like to go next? How are you going to achieve that? If you'd like to practice English with me, I will leave the link down below so that you can book a session with me in case you are interested. You will find as well links to my other services as well as other session options. I'd love to hear your story with English, and do not hesitate to leave it down in the comments and tell me which not level, which stage you feel that you can relate. And well, probably in the future we will, or I will give you tools to identify that with a little bit of more precision. But well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, or well, day, night. I don't know when you're going to see this. And well, thank you for being here one more day with me. Have a wonderful day again, and bye.